Hey friends, this is going to be a super voiceover heavy renovation vlog for you today. First off here, I'm just showing you the super cute courtyard pieces of fabric I got from the Halloween section at a local craft store, fabric store. I'm going to try and make Casper some Halloween masks to wear to school for the latter half of October. I also picked up some drywall compounds so that we can start mudding the drywall I installed in the last laundry room video. So before we get started in the laundry room, I figure kill two birds with one stone. I am taking the tags off of the new clothes that my mother-in-law picked up for the boys so that I can throw everything into the wash and it can be washed and dried while I work away in the laundry room. Today we are mudding the drywall that I put in last time, just like I said, and also we are building the frame for the mudroom bench. So here we are, starting with part one of the mudding. I am doing my best to be as smooth as possible, but full well knowing this is going to take a coat, let it dry, sand it down, and probably a second coat, let that dry, sand it down before we can prime anything and paint it that lovely turquoise color. Also the inside seam, it does need to be neater than I was anticipating just because of how deep the bench ends up sticking out, because the opposing wall of the old closet / new mudroom bench area doesn't stick out quite as far. So the bench isn't going to come to that inside seam on the wall I'm currently working on, but that's okay because we haven't made it as far as adding beadboard and even doing the second coat of drywall at this, or compound at this point. So we're going to sand it down, smooth it out, see if it needs another coat, and work from there. Now I am measuring for the dimensions of the bench that's going to go into this old closet area. I'm also trying to mark out the studs. I'm getting very frustrated when I realize on this wall that it shares with the garage, there's really only one stud that's going to hit where the bench comes out to. So you'll see in the future I end up putting in a drywall anchor that's like weighted for 75 pounds. And then I think we're also going to try and screw it in on an angle to try and hit one of the studs that's like at the front corner of where the bench will be, just to give it a little bit more stability, because I don't want to have to put any kind of like legs on the bottom that would possibly impede laundry baskets or shoes and boots going under there. Now I'm back in the garage, my apparently favorite place to be. I'm hooking up our friend's chop saw just because ours is in the shed and it was gross outside. I did not want to go out and get it. So I'm using our friend's chop saw, measuring out the front and back boards for the width of the bench. And then I'm going to measure a bunch of cross pieces to go on the sides and 2 on the inside just for extra support. I've cleared my workspace and put the saw away, and now I'm just setting up the frame kind of tentatively where everything needs to be. I'm going to use long wood screws to put everything together with the impact driver, and I did make sure to mark out on the backboard where the studs are in the wall to make sure that my cross pieces aren't going to be where those studs are, because if they are, I won't have anywhere to screw it in. So I made sure to offset those two center pieces I'm touching there to make sure that I had enough wiggle room in terms of anchoring this board into studs. I'm trying to just get the screws in the end here just started before I match it up to the crosspiece, and you can actually see just how warped that piece of wood is. But again, because we're going to be facing it with stained pine, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. I don't think anyone's going to really notice in the long run, as long as the bench is level once I screw it into the studs. I am using a square to make sure everything is as square and plumb as possible. As, again, knowing that I don't think walls are ever really completely square in certain old homes. Not that our house is old, but you know, as things settle, it becomes a little bit less square as time goes on. So I'm not super concerned about that. I did have a little bit of trouble screwing in these super long screws. I don't know if it's the drill bit I was using or what. I think it was the drill bit, because I eventually switched to a different drill bit and it went a lot smoother, but they just kept stripping and it got really annoying because I would get it like 3/4 of the way in and it just wouldn't budge. So I have like these hunks of screws sticking out. I took care of it in the long run, but still, it was super annoying. I just wanted it to run smoothly when I was building this so I could get it done and take a break.
Ladies and gentlemen.
We are back in the laundry room with our little bench frame. I am marking on the backboard where the studs are in the wall, again, just to make sure that when I do go to screw this in, because it's a little bit awkward doing it just one person, I wanted to make sure everything was ready to go when I was going to hit studs on the first try. So I'm getting all the screws started in at least 4 spots to make sure that I can get it in, and then I can kind of level it as I go. Before I put this up against the wall, I had marked a level line all the way around, so I knew exactly where I wanted it to be. It was still a little bit awkward kind of holding everything in place, but I have my level right in front of me, perfectly, actually just about at eye level. And then I'm just screwing it into those 2 studs in 4 different spots. I'm going to tighten the bottom screws once I have the front leveled because of how warped that one piece of wood was. I didn't want to screw it in too far and then have to kind of pull on it too much just to get the front lower. But eventually we get it all screwed in, and I think now I just want to put in a couple extra screws in that area where I'm working right now to see if I can kind of hit a stud on an angle, just to give it a little bit more support so that I don't have to put any legs in the front. And you can see that it does stick out a little bit further than the wall on that right hand side, but we do have to still put some MDF on the front of that wall, like to kind of frame it in almost, or like trim it in. And then I don't think, once all said and done, I don't think it's going to stick out near as far as what it looks like right now. Either way, I'm very happy with how it's turned out so far.